What if, from federal to local, our government is corrupt? What if our governments bully, steal from, and murder people of other nations and here at home? What if our government is a criminal enterprise? What if they are because that's what we, the people, have chosen? What if demographic trends point to a peak, and with no government programs, global population will decline to less than 6 billion people within 2 generations? What if we built thorium nuclear reactors, which are far safer than uranium, to power desalination plants and use the water to recharge depleted aquifers? What if the patriarchy and rape culture are false news? What if the earnings gap is not a wage gap? What if misandry is far more common and pervasive than misogyny? What if the mainstream, real news media has reported feminist propaganda knowing they are lies? What if the mainstream news is fake news? What if modern feminism has nothing to do with women's rights and first-wave feminism? What if feminists in the 60s used second-wave feminism as a Trojan horse to hide their Marxist goal to destroy the West by destroying the family? What if this was never a secret, and hundreds of feminist authors, from Shulamith Firestone to Robin Morgan and even Gloria Steinem, said as much in books and articles and speeches? What if the chaos and corruption we see today is not an unintended consequence, but is exactly what they hoped to achieve? What if Martin Luther King Jr. would be horrified by Black Lives Matter and the race baiting indulged by people like President Barack Obama? What if the increase in racial hostility is intended to keep us divided and distracted from an agenda to support a parasitical class? What if there are few real reasons to divide us, but many reasons to unite us? What if the purpose of public education is not to educate, but to indoctrinate? What if student loan debt was a debacle engineered by the banksters and facilitated by the Clintons to encourage students to obtain useless degrees so they would spend the rest of their lives paying interest on loans for something they could never use? What if this has enabled colleges and universities to increase the price of education to astronomical levels? What if it's not worth it? What if federal government bureaucracies have been used as budget black holes to divert trillions of dollars into covert programs? What if enough money has been diverted to fund the entire United States government without any more taxes? What if this money is being used to run an extra-legal global government for nefarious purposes? What if we are the sheep and they are the wolves? What if you could build a monolithic dome home that would never need a roof, require very little maintenance, and could pass from one generation to the next for hundreds of years? What if your dome home required little heating and cooling? What if you could put your home on a quarter-acre plot at a sunken greenhouse called a wallapini and produce all the vegetables your family would need year-round with very little investment in time and money? What if the purpose of the medical industry is not health care, but profit through disease maintenance? What if incurable diseases like MRSA could be cured with simple remedies like using probiotic spray or cream to treat MRSA skin sores? What if atherosclerosis is not caused by cholesterol, but by vitamin K deficiency? What if most diseases could be prevented or cured cheaply and effectively without prescription drugs? What if federal taxes can never pay off the federal debt? What if there is no intention to pay off the federal debt? What if the federal debt could be converted to equity in a debt-equity swap? What if debt-backed currencies like the dollar are based on faith more than credit? What if the government stopped issuing debt, stopped taxing us, and funded the government with virtual money? What if they converted the dollar into the federal equivalent of Bitcoin? What if the contrails from frozen water and particulates from jet planes used to disperse and disappear within a few minutes? What if the reason contrails now last for hours instead of minutes is because they're comprised of more particulates than water? What if they're not contrails at all, but chemtrails? What if girls mature faster than boys, just as colts, kittens, puppies, and sea otters mature faster than children? What if the original IQ tests comparing boys and girls of the same age were done at different stages in their relative development? What if IQ tests done several years later with young women and men at comparable stages in their development found that the average IQ of men was higher than the average IQ of women? What if this is not the first time that human civilization spread around the globe? What if an ancient lost global civilization explains the prevalence of pyramids and precision construction of massive buildings where none ought to be? What if human civilization arose in the past only to be forced back into a primitive state by a resurgent ice age? What if it could happen again? What if the solar cycle we are beginning now will add little to the current climate cooling phase, and it will last only about 15 more years, and then we will enter another warming phase? What if instead the larger glacial cycle reasserts itself when we are now sliding back into a period of ice, snow, and glaciers that will last for 1,000 years or more? What if atmospheric carbon dioxide in the past was 20 times higher than today, and yet life thrived? What if increasing carbon dioxide would decrease water use for agriculture? What if water vapor and not carbon dioxide comprises almost 98% of greenhouse gases? What if increases in atmospheric carbon dioxide follow increases in global temperatures? What if cold water can hold more carbon dioxide than warm water, and when the oceans warm, they release carbon dioxide? What if the leading global warming alarmists have been lying? What if their motives are, first, to profit from government restrictions on carbon emissions, and second, to cause billions of people to die from starvation and freezing temperatures by distracting them so that they will be unprepared for global cooling? What if we're on the cusp of another ice age? What if multiple human cycles are converging upon two opposing trends, one that would drag us into another dark age, the other that would lift us into another renaissance? What if the entrenched interests of the deep state globalists are driving us toward another dark age from which few will benefit, while entrepreneurs and innovators are striving to create a Star Trek reality in which all of us might thrive? What if the outcome is entirely up to us? What if we could eliminate all welfare programs and replace them with a guaranteed basic income? What if small programs to test the guaranteed basic income found that it increased rather than decreased participants' work ethic? What if Republican President Nixon tried to implement a guaranteed basic income almost 50 years ago, but he was stopped by the Democrat-controlled Senate? What if feminism and misandry depend on government programs like welfare to spread and sustain them? What if governments around the world are about to collapse under the weight of unsustainable socialist programs like feminism? What if rising populist nationalism is the result of an awakening to the predation of socialist programs? What if falling global temperatures and rising food prices will increase social unrest and decrease political support for programs that destroy families and divide communities? What if the backlash has begun? For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mecklin.